How tough is it to train a fighter who you don't know when that fight is going to take place?
It's very difficult because it was just really a lot of work, just getting everything done, from the glove selection to the rules meeting to the legal hand wrap in Las Vegas, 1-inch tape, and they're trying to use 2-inch tape.
Is there something magical in your punches and footwork? What hidden energy drives that relentless spirit, that strange power to battle even time itself? Why does the world still pause and pay attention whenever Manny Pacquiao enters the ring? These mysteries continue to puzzle boxing lovers everywhere. Yet, one man may hold the key. Freddie Roach, with his steady, focused presence, the mastermind behind Pacquiao's biggest triumphs, finally shares what makes this once-in-a-generation fighter truly extraordinary.
Has been so definitive. What do you think is the best advice that he ever gave you?
Just focus. Always what your dreams is.
Was that advice that you needed? Was that something that you found difficult to do?
Manny Pacquiao's legacy isn't defined by brute force alone. His punches strike like a cobra swift, silent and precise. What truly distinguishes him is the balance of lightning speed and deliberate purpose. And those rapid-fire combos, every hit tells a story, a hidden plan forged through years of dedication and discipline. Roach has seen Pacquiao's hands trace rhythms that no manual could ever explain, movements that confuse rivals and captivate spectators. He understands these blows aren't chaotic, they're an orchestrated performance, each strike landing exactly where it was meant to.
2010 negotiations start, and there's accusation. Floyd saying that, Manny's doping. Like, there's a lot going on.
Most aging fighters cling to memories of past triumphs, but Pacquiao's brilliance never dimmed, it simply transformed. At 46, his body shows the wear of endless battles, yet his mind stays sharply focused. Roach doesn't see a fading warrior. Instead, he sees a fresh layer of tactical brilliance emerge. This version of Pacquiao dissects movement like a chess grandmaster, setting traps with expert precision. The slight quiver in Roach's tone as he explains these strategies isn't hesitation, it's admiration for a fighter who converts his physical decline into a weapon of calculated advantage.
Is it to train a fighter who you don't know when that fight is going to take place?
It's very difficult because
opponents often rely on timing their counters like a metronome, steady and predictable. But Roach reveals that Manny's footwork disrupts that pattern, constantly shifting the tempo so rivals can't find their rhythm. 1 second, Pacquiao is right in front of you, unleashing a rapid 3-punch combo. The next, he's gone, reappearing from a new direction. It feels like disorder, yet it's calculated. The goal is to scatter your concentration, to make you swing at ghosts, and to remind you that you're not just battling a fighter, you're up against a living concept.
it was just really a lot of work, just getting everything done, from the glove selection to the rules meeting.
That idea is belief. Roach's trust in Pacquiao goes far beyond numbers or punch stats. It's a deep-rooted faith, shaped by years of shared hardship. Inside the stillness of the wild-card gym, Roach's Parkinson's tremors momentarily calm as he watches Manny tape his fists, greeting everyone with humility before launching into intense routines. He still sees the same fire he once spotted in a quiet teen from General Santos City. Back then, it was untamed potential. Now it's sharpened experience. Roach relies on that flame to illuminate the ring's darkest moments, to deliver victory even when youth begins to fade.
The legal hand wrap in Las Vegas, 1-inch tape, and they're trying to use 2-inch tape.
Floyd's playing a lot of games here.
Plays a lot of games.
But is this a stall tactic, in your opinion?
I believe it was a stall.
In Pacquiao's camp, strategy and spirit merge into one. The era of endless 4-round sparring is over. Now, every session is precise, each drill crafted to protect what's left and sharpen what still thrives. Roach has integrated cutting-edge science into Manny's training, reflex circuits, cryotherapy, data-backed movement analysis. Yet, he's held tight to the old-school philosophy, strengthen the mind along with the body. The outcome is a fighter who, despite the weight of time, remains a mystery in motion. No rival has dealt with a southpaw who disappears in an instant only to reappear with a left hook from a blind angle.
I'm the winner.
Well, look, Freddie, I appreciate your time.
Maybe his wife will get mad at me for saying that.
Trying to drag him back out.
Yet, the most lasting trait Pacquiao carries is heart. Freddie Roach has witnessed countless fighters pursue wealth, fame, or a swift escape from the sport they once adored. But Manny, he stayed the course. He fought through injuries that would have ended most careers, not for fortune, but for love of the art itself. Roach recalls countless times Manny could have stepped back after political wins, after generous acts, after earning more than most dream of. Still, he returned to the gym. That decision echoes louder than any blow. It tells every fighter that true greatness isn't defined by belts or paydays, but by the choice to fight because it's your essence. Roach insists this isn't nostalgia. It's not about clinging to the past. It's about honoring the reality that some fires never extinguish, they simply change their glow. Pacquiao's flame now shines with earned wisdom, steady purpose, and a belief that never wavers. When Roach calls Manny special, it's not sentiment, it's the voice of someone who's guided champions from their first spark to their full blaze. He often jokes that training Manny is like refining a vast, evolving codebase. Each session uncovers a new detail, a pattern waiting to be decoded. Imagine hours of footage turned into a living dataset where every jab, every feint is a data point in an endless algorithm. Roach approaches each camp like a tech lab, tweaking strategies, testing footwork drills against mitt routines, comparing cryo recovery to simple rest. The end result, a fighter who evolves not through trends, but through the fusion of rugged tradition and cutting-edge refinement. It's proof that true mastery lives where classic grit.
I talked to Manny on the phone, and he wants to fight one more time.
He wants to fight one more time.
He does.
Against not an exhibition.
Behind the scenes, the wild card gym hums with the energy of a high-level data center. Sensors map Pacquiao's movements in full 3D, feeding real-time data to coaches tracking his speed, angles, and power with precision. This isn't fantasy, it's the modern face of elite boxing. Still, Roach approaches tech with caution. He's wary of flashy gadgets that promise breakthroughs, firmly believing that grit and consistent effort are still the foundation of greatness. For Roach, tech should highlight flaws, not replace the sweat that built champions. There's something poetic about how Pacquiao's journey parallels that of a neural net. He started as a raw model, hungry for experience, training relentlessly on humble mats in the Philippines, soaking up knowledge from every sparring round. Over the years, layers of tactics were added, instincts sharpened, strategies refined. Now, in this season stage, Roach trims the excess, removing redundant motion to keep Manny agile and efficient. The comparison holds up, like machine learning. Boxing takes time, fine-tuning, and constant attention to performance, and yet, amid all the cutting-edge innovation, Pacquiao's true greatness lies in the unmeasurable. Roach remembers the moment Manny walked through a storm of punches just to land one shot and capture a world title. He stared at the screen in disbelief. Sure, it broke the rules of timing and physics. You can't graph moments like that. They come from a fighter's deep, instinctual core, a quality Roach calls boxing intuition. It's rare, nearly unteachable, and in Pacquiao's case, it remains unmatched.
One more fight, and then his wife calls me up and says, "Don't let him fight, don't let him fight." And I try to be on her side.
Roach also shares some fascinating details that defy expectations set by Pacquiao's small frame. During one camp, they tested his lung capacity against much taller fighters, and Manny's results were astonishing. Doctors were baffled, eventually crediting it 2 years of sprinting up steep hills in Mindanao, where the thinner mountain air forged his unmatched endurance. That rugged terrain acted as Pacquiao's secret lab, developing elite cardio through nothing more than sheer repetition and willpower. No high-tech gear, just endless climbs and mental grit. Outside the ropes, Pacquiao's life reads like a vast data stream, too complex for simple metrics. His charity work, political journey, and global presence are as integral to his identity as any code. Roach sees these life experiences as a vital strength a fighter shaped not only by rounds in the gym, but by surviving poverty, hunger, and political chaos. That background brings a richness no training app could ever simulate. To Roach, this depth of soul is part of what makes Manny exceptional. Still, he never looks at Pacquiao through rose-colored glasses. Roach is always the realist in the room, constantly asking whether Manny's body can handle another grueling camp. He examines health reports with the precision of a scientist testing a theory, knowing one misjudgment could be costly. His feedback is always a careful mix, praising progress while warning of burnout. This balance of unwavering hope and practical caution forms a powerful model for resilience, one that could serve any elite athlete chasing lasting greatness.
But like when a man in the sport wants to fight, you know, sometimes he's gonna fight. Yeah, I agree with you. He's gonna fight, and you know who? It doesn't matter.
Narratives often paint Manny Pacquiao's comeback as a fairy tale, an ageless warrior rewriting history. But Roach slices through that sentiment with a grounded perspective. He reminds everyone that no fighter's prime lasts forever, and that every win at this stage carries the burden of legacy. For Roach, past achievements mean little if current performance doesn't earn its own place. He refuses to let nostalgia dilute the demands of the moment. That mindset keeps Manny sharp focused on effort, not applause. In the ring, Roach compares Pacquiao's style to a dynamic algorithm, one that recalibrates instantly. He crafts sparring sessions that challenge Manny with unpredictable inputs, changes in size, stance, or defense, like testing software under heavy pressure to find potential flaws. And Pacquiao flourishes in that chaos, bending his techniques in real time to exploit even the smallest weaknesses. It's proof that flexibility often beats raw power, despite the influx of data-driven tools. Roach stands by the irreplaceable essence of an old-school fight camp: the conversations between rounds, the shared meals, the brotherhood formed through bruises and sweat. He believes these bonds give fighters a mental edge that no spreadsheet can simulate. When teammates rally behind Manny, it fires up his will to compete. When they trade stories of pain and triumph, it reinforces a deeper truth. Boxing is combat, waged in a different form. To Roach, those invisible connections are the unseen framework behind every strike Pacquiao lands. Looking to the horizon, Roach envisions a boxing future where data and tradition coexist, not compete. He imagines training camps where analytical teams operate side by side with seasoned cutmen, where biomechanics and punch counts blend seamlessly, with lessons learned through blood and sweat. Still, he questions whether the essence of boxing can survive this evolution. Will tomorrow's champion still carry the raw hunger that once fueled legends? Roach's stance is firm. While data can inform, it's heart that makes the final call. Pacquiao's journey resonates not just for his victories, but because it shows that greatness is never fixed, it grows, shaped by wins and setbacks, and driven by endless curiosity. Roach himself embodies that mindset: restless, skeptical, constantly dissecting. He doesn't accept surface answers. Every movement must be real, every strategy tested. Watching him work is to witness someone who understands that true mastery requires both analytical rigor and unwavering faith in something beyond formulas. Every coach knows the real battles begin long before the bell in those early morning hours when the world is still and doubts creep in. That's when Manny laces up, not to face an opponent, but to fight hesitation itself. Roach watches him with quiet intensity. The years show on Pacquiao's face, but so does the fire it's undimmed. That mental sharpness, Roach believes, is just as crucial as any physical tool. It's what transforms drills into dominance. While headlines spin the comeback into myth, Roach keeps it grounded. He won't entertain fairy tales. He wants proof in practice, not praise in press conferences. When asked if Manny still draws a crowd, Roach fires back, asked if he can still dominate a round. That refusal to let nostalgia lead is what anchors expectations and truth, because in the end, boxing isn't about past glory, it's about what unfolds when the bell rings. Pacquiao's career also highlights how the business of boxing has transformed. The era where pay-per-view numbers were the sole benchmark of a fighter's success is fading. Now, marketability is measured in social media stats, viral moments, and influencer traction. Roach watches promoters crunch these numbers, tracking likes, shares, and algorithm-driven reach, but he remains skeptical of their true value. For him, no viral moment replaces the fundamentals: grit, talent, and relentless training. That old-school philosophy often collides with today's commercial boxing machine, and Roach doesn't mind the tension. Inside camp, he crafts unpredictable scenarios designed to mimic the chaos of fight nights. Sudden changes to sparring partners, lights going dark mid-round, bells ringing erratically. It's not drama, it's deliberate stress testing. These exercises push Pacquiao's mental focus just as much as his physical endurance. His ability to remain calm and reactive in the storm confirms he's still a fighter molded by real pressure. In those instances, Roach sees the same instinctive killer who once dismantled world-class opponents with calm aggression. But Roach is also a realist, painfully aware of how unforgiving boxing can be. One wrong move, one poorly timed punch, and an entire camp's effort can be erased in seconds. That's why he revisits past mistakes with surgical honesty. He reminds Manny of the times he got caught of split-second decisions that could have gone differently. These reflections aren't meant to mythologize his toughness. They serve as hard-earned lessons, reminders etched in memory to prevent overconfidence from burying the truths forged in past defeats. For Barrios, that unpredictability poses a tactical nightmare. He can train to counter Pacquiao's speed, study his angles, react to his feints but no amount of tape can prepare him for the depth of experience woven into every strike. Roach tells his team that facing Pacquiao is like tackling a puzzle that keeps changing shape just when you think you've solved it. He's already rewritten the rules. That constant blend of offense and fluid defense defines Manny's style, a product not of lone genius, but of years of tight collaboration between fighter and coach. And then there's the crowd, an unpredictable variable all its own. Roach admits that the roar of a packed arena can breathe life into a fighter, and he's seen Manny thrive off that energy, as if the cheers themselves charge his gloves. Still, he cautions against depending on the crowd. Applause can be fickle, and a fighter chasing validation often loses focus. That's why he conditions Pacquiao to draw strength from within, from the unwavering discipline built over years of sacrifice. This harmony of the old and the new carries over to every part of training, including nutrition and recovery. Roach works closely with nutritionists to design meals that fuel without compromising agility, and coordinates recovery schedules to ensure balance between high-intensity drills and quality rest. But even with all the science, he preserves the rituals that bind the team. Shared meals after training, where stories are swapped and minds are reset. In those moments, the gym becomes more than a place to train, it becomes a forge, where mental strength is reinforced and camaraderie becomes armor. Modern boxing is flooded with viral knockouts, flashy edits, and a constant stream of data analysis. Amid the noise, Roach remains a voice of restraint, reminding everyone that subtlety often outweighs spectacle. He warns against obsessing over isolated punch statistics, arguing that raw numbers rarely tell the full story. What matters, he says, is the context, which strikes create openings, how pressure causes defenses to collapse, and how entire sequences unfold under fire. To Roach, each bout is a dialogue and exchange of intent and adaptation, not just a numerical competition. Reducing it to simple data points strips the sport of its rhythm and artistry. That's why he teaches Pacquiao to communicate with his body with feints, shifts, and timing, not for the sake of showmanship, but to express strategy and control. For Roach, true boxing speaks a language deeper than numbers can capture. As you absorb Roach's perspective, take a moment to turn the mirror inward. Are you relying too much on comfortable routines while overlooking new possibilities? Do you question fast-track solutions, even when they offer instant results? The story of Manny Pacquiao's evolution under Freddie Roach is a powerful reminder. True excellence lives at the crossroads of legacy and progress, where instinct meets intellect and heart complements science. It's a lesson worth reflecting on. If this glimpse behind the gloves challenged your thinking or sparked curiosity about your own potential, give it a like, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe for more stories where determination meets data and doubt fuels discovery. Looking to the horizon, Roach envisions a boxing future where data and tradition coexist, not compete. He imagines training camps where analytical teams operate side by side with seasoned cutmen, where biomechanics and punch counts blend seamlessly, with lessons learned through blood and sweat. Still, he questions whether the essence of boxing can survive this evolution. Will tomorrow's champion still carry the raw hunger that once fueled legends? Roach's stance is firm. While data can inform, it's heart that makes the final call. Pacquiao's journey resonates not just for his victories, but because it shows that greatness is never fixed, it grows, shaped by wins and setbacks, and driven by endless curiosity. Roach himself embodies that mindset, restless, skeptical, constantly dissecting. He doesn't accept surface answers. Every movement must be real, every strategy tested. Watching him work is to witness someone who understands that true mastery requires both analytical rigor and unwavering faith in something beyond formulas. Every coach knows the real battles begin long before the bell, in those early morning hours when the world is still and doubts creep in. That's when Manny laces up, not to face an opponent, but to fight hesitation itself. Roach watches him with quiet intensity. The years show on Pacquiao's face, but so does the fire. It's undimmed. That mental sharpness, Roach believes, is just as crucial as any physical tool. It's what transforms drills into dominance. While headlines spin the comeback into myth, Roach keeps it grounded. He won't entertain fairy tales. He wants proof in practice, not praise in press conferences. When asked if Manny still draws a crowd, Roach fires back, asks if he can still dominate a round. That refusal to let nostalgia lead is what anchors expectations and truth, because in the end, boxing isn't about past glory, it's about what unfolds when the bell rings.